Donna and I were talking about the stair steps that we talked about early on in Emerging Leaders Program.
I think it was one of our first sessions.
Yeah, it sort of looks like this. And the first step to doing anything is unconscious incompetence. We don't realize just how bad we are.
Exactly.
We call that bliss. And then the first step after that is conscious incompetence. We've realized that we are no good at this thing. We call that awareness.
But we know we want to learn from it, or we want to learn and be more aware of it.
Oh, I'm terrible at running a meeting, whatever that thing is, right? The next step after becoming aware is conscious competence. It's when we know that we're working on this thing, we're talking about it with our coworkers. We call that work.
Because it is work.
Right, we're putting the work in.
Yep.
And at some point, as we get better and better, we become unconsciously competent. It's something that we just do. We don't even think about it. And we call that mastery.
Because now we're comfortable with it.
Right. Being able to identify the things that we need to advance from one step to the next is the work of becoming a leader.
Exactly.
How have you applied that?
You can't. You can't do that to me. Cut.
Before we'd started with the ELP program, I would have discussions with coworkers and not fully understand why they are having such a hard time reaching the same conclusion that I thought they should be coming to. What I realized was that I wasn't really considering their viewpoint. I was aware the conversations were difficult, but I was really not understanding why.
And that brings to mind for me the idea of the difficult conversation tango. So it's very important to realize that when someone is stating their point of view, they really believe it. They don't think it's crazy. They don't think it's irrational. So we need to step to the side and try to see the problem from their point of view to try and understand what they're thinking.
That's absolutely correct. Once I had that awareness, I could use this new tool from my toolbox that I learned from ELP and let them lead the conversation and try to come to a mutual conclusion. I now try to see things from their point of view, and that has helped me dramatically improve the outcomes of meetings and everyday conversations.
I can't help but think back to how this all started, because it started so simply. It was just us trying to network with each other. Hey, we do similar things. What is it you do? What is it I do? And we get to talking about how you have students that you supervise,
Right. And basically, we talked about just all kinds of things about supervision. We got together with some other people in ATUS, and we talked about supervision overall.
Yeah, what is it like to supervise?
Yep. And we talked about kind of job descriptions and all that kind of stuff. But what we really figured out is we could share our resources. And because we had needs that were at different times of the year.
And surprisingly complementary. Like, you had these periods of time, like the first of the year, you need a ton of help right then. I've got kind of a weekly thing where I've got a little gap, like here and there on a Thursday afternoon. And being able to share our students with one another isn't just good for us, it's been good for them too.
Yep, it's been good for them. So they have a bigger understanding of the entire service portfolio of the University of OIT, and they have a better understanding of who they are supporting when they're doing usability.
I would even go so far as to say it's operationally excellent.
I would say so too.
And all thanks to little bits. Like, we didn't plan on this when we were like, hey, we should talk. It just kind of germinated out of that approach.
Yep, and it actually helped us completely figure out how to manage 2,500 incidents on that first day of school. So thanks.
How did you apply what we've learned in ELP?
I've totally done the yes and thing.
Yes, and that's great.
Yeah.
I just did it across the hall in the last conference meeting.
Yes.
The person said, but, and I went, let's think about and see if we can make it more of a positive.
Yeah, I don't do it all the time, but I do remember occasionally that that's what I should probably do. And it's been positive.
Yeah, I literally do it every time I write an email and I put but in there. I'm like,
yes.
Can I change it to and?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So one of the topics from ELP that resonates with some of us service owners is around presence. I think it's very, very important in our role, and presence is more than just first impression. It's It's our physical characteristics, it's our energy, it's our attitude, the way we carry ourselves. So through ELP, we learned a few things, one of which is self-awareness. I think that's very important, is knowing ourselves, knowing our hot buttons, knowing how our actions can impact others. We also learn a lot about active listening, be interested in others, to be interesting. I think that's very important as well. And body language and, nonverbal communications and skills. So I think those are very important and play an important role in presence.